My wife was in shock when I joined them at the table, right in the middle of her date with her affair partner. I had the proof in my hand. The evening had only just begun, and the city buzzed with the excitement of the weekend. But to me, it felt like the calm before the storm. Selena, my wife, had been distant for months. At first, I thought it was just the stress of her job. She was a high-powered consultant at a luxury finance firm in Zurich. But as the weeks passed, I began noticing subtle changes. Longer hours at work, vague explanations for late nights, and the disappearance of small gestures of affection that had once made our marriage feel secure. It wasn't just paranoia. Something deep in my gut told me there was more to it. I tried to ignore the nagging feeling, convincing myself I was overreacting. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. So, I decided to take action. I wasn't sure what I expected to find, but I was willing to take the risk. That Friday night, I followed her. Selena had mentioned a work dinner earlier in the week, but she didn't give me many details. I had no reason to doubt her, but something in her voice, something in the way she said it, raised a red flag. It wasn't that I didn't trust her, but the gnawing feeling in my stomach wouldn't go away. I arrived at the restaurant early, hiding in plain sight among the crowded tables. The upscale restaurant was known for its exclusivity, the kind of place Selena and I would never have frequented. It was too expensive, too elegant, too high-class for our usual Friday nights. But she had always enjoyed the idea of sophistication, so I had no doubt she'd be there. I ordered a glass of wine and scanned the room, pretending to focus on the menu. I was trying to calm my nerves, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this night would change everything. Then I saw her. She was sitting across from a man at a dimly lit corner table, laughing as she absent-mindedly played with the wine glass in her hand. It was Ethan, my colleague. Ethan and I had worked together on several projects at the firm. He was sharp, ambitious, and had a knack for securing deals. We'd crossed paths numerous times, but never once had I suspected him of being anything more than a professional contact. But as I watched them, a sinking feeling washed over me. The way Selena looked at him, the way their shoulders brushed as they leaned in closer, it wasn't just business. There was something more, something intimate. I watched them for a moment longer. Selena tilted her head back and laughed at something Ethan said, her fingers lingering a little too long on his arm. My stomach churned. I felt betrayed, blindsided. How could this happen? How long had it been going on? Was I really so blind? Then I saw it. The tiny but telling detail, a silver bracelet. One I had bought for her on our 3rd anniversary. I had seen it countless times over the years, but tonight, there it was on her wrist. Except this time, it wasn't as... I had imagined it wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol, a reminder of a promise broken. I couldn't stay there, watching the charade unfold. I felt like a fool for letting it go on this long, for not trusting my instincts sooner. With my heart pounding, I stood up from the bar and walked over to their table. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I couldn't stand idly by any longer. The moment I approached, Selena froze. Her eyes locked onto mine, wide and panicked. Her body stiffened, and for a second, it seemed like she didn't know what to do. Then Ethan looked up. His expression changed from casual to startled in an instant, the color draining from his face as he realized who I was. Selena tried to smile, but it was strained, forced. She spoke softly, trying to sound natural. "What are you doing here?" I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the envelope, the one I had painstakingly filled with the evidence of their affair. It felt heavy in my hands, a physical representation of the hurt, confusion, and betrayal that had been building inside me. I paused for a moment to breathe. This journey was intense, and I knew it was hitting deep. I didn't need to hear more lies, more excuses. The truth was already here. I placed the envelope on the table. The sharp edge hit the linen with a muffled thud. Selena's face turned pale. Her eyes darted between me and Ethan, then back to me again. She tried to speak, but the words caught in her throat. "I don't need to hear your excuses," I said, my voice calm but cold. "I already know everything. I've been following you. I've seen everything, the late nights, the lies, the secret phone calls. And now, I walk in here to find you with him. I know about you and Ethan." Selena opened her mouth, but no words came out. Ethan, on the other hand, had his defense ready. "Tom, look, it's not what I think." I interrupted, my anger bubbling to the surface. "Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think this is just some mistake?" Ethan shifted uncomfortably in his seat, trying to avoid eye contact. Selena looked like she was about to cry, but I wasn't buying it. She could no longer manipulate me with her charm. The truth hung in the air between us, suffocating. "I never meant for this to happen," Selena said, her voice trembling. It just happened. I didn't want to hurt you, Tom. I really didn't." She stood up, reaching for my arm as though trying to comfort me. But I stepped back, not allowing her to touch me. "Here's the rewritten version of the final part of your story." I felt a sharp pain in my chest, but I wasn't going to let her see it. She had shattered my heart too many times already. "No," I said firmly. "You wanted this. You've been lying to me for months, and I've been a fool for not seeing it sooner." Ethan, looking increasingly uncomfortable, stood up as well. "Tom, we never meant to hurt you," he said quietly. "I don't care," I snapped, my voice now harsh. "Don't try to make excuses. It's too late for that." I could see Selena struggling with her emotions. She didn't want to lose me, but she also couldn't seem to stop herself from justifying what had happened. It was too late for apologies, too late for explanations. I took a step back, my hand clenched at my side, and turned to leave. But before I could walk away, I heard Selena call after me. "Tom, please, don't do this. Don't walk away. We can fix this. I can explain everything." Her voice cracked with desperation, but I didn't turn around. "No, Selena," I said, my voice cold. "You don't get to fix this. You're not going to get another chance to lie to me." As I walked out of the restaurant, the weight that had been pressing on my chest for months seemed to lift, even if just for a moment. It was over. The deception, the hurt, the mistrust. It was all finally out in the open. The days that followed were filled with a strange mix of relief and anger. I filed for divorce, using the evidence I had gathered to ensure Selena wouldn't try to manipulate the situation. It wasn't easy, and there were moments when I questioned my decision. But deep down, I knew there was no turning back. The woman I had loved had betrayed me, and I couldn't live with the shadow of that betrayal hanging over me. The truth hurts, but it also frees you. In the end, I was able to walk away from the wreckage of my marriage, stronger and more self-aware. I wasn't the same man I had been before all of this happened. I had learned the hard way that trust, once broken, is never fully repaired. When trust is broken, it doesn't matter how many apologies or explanations are offered. Some things can't be undone, and some wounds can never fully heal.